Jenna, thank you for coming on Megan's Bookish Life IG Live.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I asked a warm-up question before this, and it was like, what was the weather like? And I'm like, yeah, boring, whatever. I have a more in-depth question that I discovered. To, so you put on your bio in your website that you've been writing since you were 7 years old. So,
Hmm
5 years ago. But you used to write about cows falling in love, also a story that was, quote, a romantic plot set on the Oregon Trail. So,
Yes.
obviously, this was a while ago, but are you thinking in the future of writing a story of cows in love that live on the Oregon Trail? Because I heard that fans are requesting it. Me and the fans.
I love it. I don't think that is in the future.
Have you, okay, but back when you were a kid, when you wrote those stories, did you have like, were you like, yeah, this is going somewhere? Or was it something where you're like, it's just for me?
Um, I shared them with like I would send them to my grandparents and my mom and dad would read them, but that was the extent of it. I think the Oregon Trail one actually that one was like a book. Like the cow story was like 5 pages that you print or something like that. If that, probably even less. But the Oregon Trail one, it was like 100 some pages, and eventually I just was like, I don't know where this is going. I need to stop.
Was
But
it from the video game, or did you like have an obsession with it, like most kids do?
it was nothing to do with the video game. It was actually from learning about it in school. Um, I really enjoyed that, and that was also I think it was all fourth grade, so it was like the time where we were learning narrative writing and we were learning about the Oregon Trail, so it just like combined and
You were in fourth grade saying, "I have a great idea." Like
yeah.
I had I think it was fifth grade. I had my Titanic era, but I never like had an Oregon Trail era. And I'm like, is it too late for me? Probably,
I
probably.
don't think so.
If you write this story about falling in love on the Oregon Trail, Jenna, I'm the
Yeah.
first buyer.
Okay.
I do also see that you are a fan of audiobooks. I saw that, I think, on Instagram, like whatever, those friends. I love those because I get to know people. I just turned into an audiobook girly this year because I'm going everywhere. I'm always in my car.
hmm
So I need to know. You give me yours, and I'll give you mine. There we go.
Yeah.
Your like musts for audiobooks. Like, is there something that like you can't listen to that you love? Give me your audiobook like rundown.
Audiobooks are kind of new to me too. I think maybe it's probably been less than a year since I got into them. And it was because I started doing a book club with some friends. And I found like I was reading books that I would read for like research, kind of for what I was writing. And then I was in this book club and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna have time to read this because I read books so slow these days. Um, and so I decided to try an audiobook and it was amazing. I could finish a book in like 2 days. um, so I think I'm definitely like still kind of figuring things out. I will say I think the narrator matters, but I don't know narrators well enough to be like I really like this person and this person. But I do think they make a big difference. And I think too, the book has to have really good dialogue, which I mean is hard to tell going into it, but I have noticed there have been a few books, like there's one I'm reading right now, where I think if I like read the physical book, it would be fine, but hearing someone like say some of the things, I'm like, that just sounds weird. I don't know.
I'm gonna stop you real quick because I have to tell you that happened to me like 3 nights ago.
Oh my gosh.
I read the book and I loved it. I was like, it was a nonfiction. I'm like, good for the author. I loved the great book. Very history like I loved it. But I could not tell because he was not a narrator, like officially, like he'd never done before. I couldn't tell who was
Yeah.
talking. So it like the dialogue, I couldn't tell if
Yeah.
he was talking, if it was a different character. I was like, when did your mom start talking? I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that's actually something that is really important, I think, with an audiobook, because you can't see the cues and yeah.
I also have to say I'm gonna say like January. I was like audiobooks all the way because I'm going back to school, so I drive an hour to school and an hour back. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I love music, but sometimes I want something else. So I listen on 2 point like speed. Never think I'm crazy. I'm like, I've done worse. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, oh, I also judge a book by its cover, but for audiobooks, I don't
Interesting.
because I don't even know the cover half the time. I'll just press like play or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know what it looks like. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's funny.
I also have to do something where I have a ton, you can't see, but I have a ton of books like piled up on my floor. And so
Uh-huh.
what I'm doing now is like the year of getting those away. So I choose audiobooks that I physically have. So I can like get them off my shelf and I've listened to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, genius. Let's see how much I should have kept track this year. I didn't. Oh well. I've gotten rid of a lot of books because of that.
That's interesting. I'm like the opposite, where if I have them on my shelf, I'm not going to listen to them on audio because I'm determined if it's on my shelf, I have to physically read it.
I did do one thing where some of them I keep because I like them so much, but I bought one after the audiobook. I was like, this is so good. I need the physical copy. And I'm like, Megan, stop.
That
But
I
I
could see.
support.
Yeah.
I swear we're gonna be back into you. Okay, here we go. I had coffee a little later in the day, and you can tell. So you are an author of closed door romance, which you stated everywhere. It's not a secret. I love this. Uh,
Yeah.
I have to tell you, one of my favorite all-time books. It's an indie book, and it's called "Till You Came Along" by Larissa Padilla, and that's a Fade to Black closed door. So I don't judge a book on what kind of spice, what kind of not. I love a good
Yeah.
romance. So I've noticed though, as a reader, closed door is not seen as much for whatever reason. But like I said, one of my favorite books is Fade to Black, the best book I've read. So my question is, this is like a deeper question. So don't think I'm like being like tell me your truth. But why do you write Fade to Black? Because it should be more recognized, says me.
Thank you. I think for me, honestly, it was a little bit of just like a comfort level thing. I think it was hard, and I'm still like, I'm really coming around. I think more in the last few months, I've really embraced like, yep, this is what I write, and like if it's not what you want, then oh well, like I'll find my readers. Um, but I think it was definitely just like a comfort thing, and I think something that's great about it is I don't know, I feel like it opens up a lot of doors. Like I've had my first grade teacher bought one of my books. I had like my high school English teacher slash cross country coach came to a book signing and bought a bunch of my books. My grandparents, both of them, my grandma and grandpa, have read my books, and my grandpa always tells me, he literally called me Friday because he is reading my latest release, and he called me to say like, I just love your books. Like, I don't like romance, but I like your books. And like, how do you come up with your ideas? And so I don't know. It's just cool that like I get to share these with everyone. And I feel like if I wrote Spice, like I would not want all of these people reading my books.
Well, we need your grandpa on here so he can ask questions too. No, you know what? I don't write fiction, so I'm just a consumer of it. But if I did, 100% agree. I have respect for people who can be like, say hello to their neighbors and say, I read some real dark smut. Here you go.
Yeah.
And I could not do that. I
Yeah.
love though, real quick. I love that you're like, was it you that came to the book signing?
It was, she was my freshman year English teacher, and she coached cross country and track, which I ran in high school. So.
When you have an English teacher support you, you've made it. You, I,
Yeah.
oh my
It
gosh.
was.
Okay, so that is the comfort level is 100% agreeable. I need to know, did your grandpa binge it? I love him already for that.
No, he says he has like specific times. Like I think he got his haircut or something on Friday, so he like took it with him for his haircut. Like he has different things that he does, and that's his reading time.
As you can tell, I used to work at a senior center, so I'm like invested now. I love that. I have to tell everyone that your debut novel is called Where the Sun Lights the Shadow, which you released in 2024 and has a completely beautiful cover of a lake. Like, oh, nice. Your second and third books, Putting Down Roots and Uprooting, do a little turn around in like the romance area from your first book. But then they have really pretty covers. And I told you book by its covers. Sometimes, not always. These book covers are the kind that people would buy because the cover's so beautiful, and I would know. What is your process of picking up covers? Did you like some artists or some authors like do drawings of it and make sure like it's like stick people or whatever, like then the artist kind of runs wild with it? Or did you have a certain artist? Might tell me the cover process. They're beautiful. Stop doing that. I love
it. Thank you. I'm so glad that you say that, because I mean that is always the hope. Like the covers are important to me. I love pretty covers, so I wanted to have books that draw people in when they see it. I think it's kind of interesting. Where the Sun Lights the Shadows, I used a different cover designer than my Roots series, and it wasn't necessarily like intentional. It was a little bit of an availability thing based on how things are going, because I was really happy with my first cover, but I'm also really happy with my Roots covers. So I think for all of my covers, for the most part, I'm not an artist. I do not, like, if I were to try and draw something, I don't think it would look anything remotely like what I picture in my head. So usually I've given explanations of things that I want, and I've given, like with Where the Sun Lights the Shadows, I mentioned a few covers, like Carly Fortune's covers. I love that like watercolor design, and Where the Sun Lights the Shadows kind of has that. So I gave some examples of like other covers and then a general idea of what I pictured. But 100% the cover designers definitely like take what I've given them and run with it and make it like something so beautiful, even more than I could have imagined. Like Where the Sun Lights the Shadows, I think I mentioned something about like sunset, and them looking out over the water, but like when I got it, I cried. Like it was so beautiful, and I was just so happy.
I can see the Carly Fortune one. Covers are widely loved too, so good one for that one. I'm not an artist in the fact that I can't draw for beans at all.
Yeah.
Jenna, I went to art school for a semester. Trust me, I can't draw for beans. That's why I dropped out. But with my like podcast logo, it's not a cover, but I love the artist who did it because she's really good for her age. But I did the stick person thing. I was like, I want hands and I want feet and I want a book. She's like perfect, and she did a really good job. Artists, like they have creative minds where I wish I had that.
Me too.
You picked the right people. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I haven't shared the cover for the last book in the Roots series, but I have it. And I shared in my newsletter. I wish there was a way that I could show you, but I made like a Canva design of what I pictured.
Okay.
And the cover is not it did not end up being what I had initially suggested. It looks so much better, and I'm so thankful for her for taking some creative reign on that. But I shared it in my newsletter, and I got a few people that responded and just were like cracking up because it was pretty funny.
Well, I was gonna do that. I didn't put it on my to-do list. I was gonna print out your covers and like put them like side by side and like hold them up. I didn't. Like darn it. Can you legally tell me? Can you legally spill the tea on the cover? You don't contract that I know of. That you can't legally tell me. Are there boots on the third book on the cover?
Yes, there have to be.
There have to be. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, okay, do your thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's some things about cover artists where I'm like, you guys need all the love in the world because my two leg Megan turned out to be a whole logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like this next question is cliche, but I've never asked it ever on my like 130 episodes of this podcast.
Wow.
So this is like people ask this all the time. I'm like, I haven't. Let's do it for the first time. Have you had any authors or books influence you to start writing? Because like I said, I'm not like a fiction author. I do a lot of like nonfiction.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I do, to broaden this question, I find a lot of like Instagram accounts that are like inspiring for my writing, which is strange, but it's true. Um,
Yeah.
and then like there's some songs that give me creative sparks. What about you as a fiction author? Have you like, what is your like inspiration, I guess?
That's a really good question. I like it. I think it's a little bit of everything. When I first started writing, like first decided to write Where the Sun Lights the Shadows, that was actually inspired by a dream that I had. Um,
People,
yeah.
real quick. So many people have dreams and write books about them. Like I had a dream about a cat last night. Like I don't. It actually was a great dream, but like I don't have dreams, and I love that you have that. But keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, my dreams are usually pretty wacky, and this one I guess kind of was too, but it was enough to like turn it into something.
Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, that was a huge inspiration. I take a lot of ideas from songs. I think especially like these last two books. I've had playlists for all three of my books, but the Roots ones I actually like published the playlist in the book. Um, and those play a huge role in like giving me ideas for scenes and things. And then I'm always kind of like I mentioned before when we were talking about audiobooks, I read a lot of like what I'm writing. So usually I already have an idea of like overarching like trope or whatever that I want to write. Like my last book that I published, Uprooting, is Brother's Best Friend. So I was trying to read a lot of Brother's Best Friend and see like different ways that authors do it. And I can't say that it like totally changes the way I write, but sometimes like it gives me a little bit of ideas, especially like as I'm working through things, like I'm feeling a little resistance with a story idea and can't figure out how to like work through it. I've found a few times like seeing like a struggle that a character is going through or something, and I'm like, oh, that's similar, and like, oh, that's how they did it, and I find a way like through that to work through my problem. Um, yeah, and I think too, like I've had a few times just reading random books, I guess. Like I read Hannah Grace, her like Icebreaker series. I think it's the last one in the series. The female main character, like I feel like the classic first daughter, but basically like she was dealing with some like family struggles, and then she had like a job, and then she was writing a book for like a school assignment thing, and seeing that she was going through that struggle of like trying to balance everything, I like opened my eyes like, oh, I can write a character like that. Like I can relate to that, and I think I could have my own spin on it. So I kind of like wove that into my last book as well. That like that's what the female main character was struggling with. Um, and I don't think it was really like a conscious connection at the time, but I think it was like in the back of my mind having read that book before and seen that illustrated.
Um, I was gonna say that is exactly what I do for when I write my nonfiction essay or whatever. I have to have like not all the time, but I'm trying to think of different words than example. I love something like someone else is writing and saying, "Oh, this is how they paragraph this. This is how they." I can do that too, but in my own way. So, and
Yeah.
I usually don't have a lot of authors saying they read the same like tropes and genres they write, but yours makes total sense because
Mhm.
I really like I'm like, oh, I'm stuck at this part, but I'm like, oh wait, someone else did something like this. Let me rearrange to my thought.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, I love and I hate it because it does, like, I limit myself so much on what I read, and that's, I guess, the beauty of audiobooks now is like sometimes I let myself listen to other things because I don't know, somehow in my head it like doesn't count, or I can just like have a couple books going at a time. Um, but it also is a lot of help for my writing, so pros and cons.
Pros and cons for life in general, girlfriend. I
Yeah.
feel. Jenna, I have to ask you the big question. What is next for you? We've got any signings? We got the third book in the roots. Can you say anything
Yes.
about that?
I have been so shy about sharing stuff with Roots Book 3 because I had planned to already have been sharing things about it, and I had edits done I think a little over a month ago, and I have like I've torn the book apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a big rewrite, and this is, I guess, why I usually hold off until I get kind of to a certain point in the editing because I have done before in my earlier writing career where I would share stuff and then I'd change the book and I'm like I shared like a trope or something and it ends up getting cut and I'm like, okay. But I will say Roots Book 3, I'm planning on this year. I'm hoping for maybe like fall. I'm getting close to like getting through the first time through of all the edits, and I think once I get through that it'll kind of flow pretty easily. I think of just like minor things with writing style or like closing up a couple loose ends and things. Um, it is a second chance romance.
Love.
Still takes place in small town roots and we'll have all the fun found family vibes. I'm really excited. It's all of the books I think that I write are very personal to me, especially it always works out like as I'm writing the book. Like I didn't mean for me to be going through the things that my female main character is going through in the book, but here I am going through exactly what I wrote. So it's fun, and I'm hoping that people will be able to relate to it. People have been waiting for this female main character for since book one came out, so I'm really excited, and I hope that they'll like getting to like be in her head and like see the depth of her character.
I I love a second chance because what I say too, I'm like, hey, everyone in your life, if you know me when I was younger, now is your chance. Like what boy is now a man and wants to second chance romance with me? Like I'm open.
I
I
love it.
I love reading about them, but also I'm like, hey guys, I'm in my hometown still. Who wants to volunteer?
Yeah, it's been a unique challenge because I love second chance romance and writing it is something else because you have to make it like you have to make it so that people can actually root for these characters again. Like obviously it didn't work out one time before, so like why is it going to work this time? And that's been something that has been a unique challenge, but it's been fun and I think I have figured out a fun little twist on it that'll be exciting.
I actually really like when you said how to root for them again, which is a huge, I feel like, a trouble in some books because sometimes
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm sorry they didn't work out the first time, but they had real bad issues. That's the reason. But with
Yeah.
again, you gotta kind of talk the reader into.
Mhm.
I'll read no matter what. That second chance romance is about me. I know it.
I
Oh my
love
God. Okay, Jenna, you are a joy and a half. Thank you so much for coming on. What do you want to say to the world of Megan's Bookish Life podcast?
it. Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for listening. You can find more about me on my Instagram, Jenna Rogers Books. I'm on TikTok, but like not really. It's kind of sort of. And then my website is also jennarogersbooks.com. I sell signed copies on my website. My books are on Amazon KU. So check out my books. I think they're pretty good.
And the covers, beautiful. Buy
Thank
them. Yeah.
you.
Have a great day, okay? I hope
You
it's
too.
fine, better than my outside, I guess.
Thank you.
I'll see you later, okay?
All right, bye.